Who's ready for an almighty conservatory slash jungle room slash plant room tour? Hi, my name is Memo, this is my channel, Houseplantygoodness, and essentially it's a place where I like to geek out about my big passion. You might be able to see some of it behind me. It's tropical houseplants. So yes, today, many requests for a houseplant tour, and I have split the video into two separate parts. I don't know which one you are going to get first, so this might be part one or part two, I don't know. But this video is going to be the tour of my conservatory slash jungle room slash plant room, essentially. And I'll take you around. I'm going to get onto some chairs so I can show you some of the taller bits and the middle bits, and I'll bring up some plants and show you. We could be here for hours on end, and I've already been filming since quite early this morning. I started filming at 8 a.m. It is now almost midday and I still need to water, and it's blisteringly hot. I think currently at the moment in here it is 35 or 36 degrees Celsius with about 70 to 80% humidity. So warm. But yes, I'll take you around and show you. If I've missed your favorite plant, do let me know and I'll include it into the next tour. But for the people that are asking about how frequently these are going to come out, I will try to bring up a tour video of possibly the house plants in the house, in the conservatory, maybe the garden or the allotment if it's summer, which is the other video that's going to be coming up, which is house plants in the house, garden tour and allotment tour, and I'll kind of put them in that order as well. So if all you care about is the house plants, you don't have to watch the garden or the allotment tour. I will not be offended. That is absolutely fine. But yes, I'll do this once a season, so that you've got this. So consider this your summer houseplant tour. Okay, and let's start the conservatory tour, shall we? And I've kind of like standing on a chair so I can show you some of the higher up bits for once. Here we've got the Nepenthes, the pitcher plant as well here, and it's doing quite well actually. You might be able to see, and I'll show you in a moment kind of a bit better. This is all, including some of the orchids, are getting watered every couple of days from my automatic watering system. This is just in some sphagnum moss at the moment. Here is one of the leaves of my Philodendron Heleniae, subspecies Heleniae, and there's more leaves here. A mahusive leaf from the Philodendron Esmeraldens, which is doing exceptionally well. And right at the back there, and I'll pick you up and show you some of the internal bits in just a second, is where the crocodile fern is, some of the other kind of orchids. Here is where I would have my marble queen. And right at the top, if I move this leaf out the way, you should be able to, and I'm trying to see if they're coming up on the screen. Yes, this is Philodendron Splendid here. Some of it needs to be treated for spider mites, which have kind of happened. And then right up the top here, you can see that leaf that I'm pulling down there, and you can kind of see it at the top as well here. This is my UPI, right at the very top. Also up here, I've finally moved it just so we can get a bit more light. My variegated Anthurium caipirinha, I think this is. Oops. And then up here as well is where the Apple Fantasy Aglaonema lives. Whilst I drop all of the soil on the ground, but even more soil on the ground. But this is doing really well, and this gets loads and loads of light, but I've kept the coloration on this without any problem. Shifted you ever so slightly further this way, so again, more of, because at this point it's everywhere, and just to give you an idea of context of size of this leaf now that I'm up here, that is my Esmeraldens, and the leaf is down here as well, just to give you an idea. This is one of the newest leaves that it's got at the moment. Also up here, and I'm not going to move it right now because I've just watered it and it sits in water, is, I can never remember. It's one of the ones that's meant to be sitting in water as well. Up here as well is, and I will bring this down, I'll try to bring this down, is my guava alocasia, Aglaonema, looking very, very, very cool at the moment, and seems to be really happy. And I'm trying to think now, oh yes, some of the newest leaves have started to sprout now, which is fantastic. Right at the back as well, there is a propagate of the Dark Lord. I'm trying to think if there's anything up here. Nope. Let me swing you around a bit more and I'll show you a bit more on that side. Okay, and we're up again now. So here is the Traversia palmata. This is the Dark Lord philodendron, which is doing quite well. And you can see what the problem is with the Traversia palmata. And I don't remember if today's watering day, it might be. It does this flop thing. And it's meant to be more like an umbrella kind of opening up. It is a very warm day. Just to clarify, I'm trying to see. It is 35 degrees Celsius in here at the moment. And the humidity is close to 70%. So it is very hot. I should be wearing a tank top. I don't know what I was thinking about not. But this is another bit as well. Up here is where the anthurium, oh, why am I blocking? That's what happens when you film a tour of the allotment, the garden, the house, and now you're doing the conservatory. Brain is fried already. I've been going since 8 a.m. this morning and it's now 11, so we're doing good. I'll put the name of the kind of anthurium up there. This is obviously my Ficus elastica taniki. There is one of the biggest leaves of my anthurium lancia. Very, very cool, lesser known anthurium and kind of massively underrated, at least in my humblest of opinions. And then I'll pan you over to this side and we can kind of look at some of the plants there. Okay, so this is part of, and you can see how janky this is, because this is just on a janky support stick that's also attached to the shelving unit. Philodendron Sharonii. Huge, absolutely huge. Behind it, right here, I'll see if I can you can kind of see this. This is the Philodendron Esmeralda Spirit, and that's his newest leaf there. This is the newest leaf that is still very much hardening off of the Anthurium veitchii. To give you some context of my newest veitchii leaf, huge, huge, huge. I'm trying to think what else is up here that you can kind of see. Let me pan you over again. So there we go. This is the Jose Bueno, Pinkley Eye Anthurium, which has still got, like, I'm still struggling with mealybugs with this one, but it's doing okay. You can also see the sheer volume of fans in the space. The Nigrolaminum GG is here. That's the newest leaf that's still hardening off whilst I try not to inhale everything. This is the Anthurium with all of the little leaflets, and I cannot remember the name right now. My Monstera albo that has pretty much reverted at this point, which needs to get another chop at the top there, but it's serving a purpose of it shading the rest of the plants at the moment, so I'm gonna leave that where it is. So lighting in this video is gonna be all over the shop as well. I don't mind, I can do it in editing because it's been a fully sunny day, and the moment that I try to film in here is the moment it goes dark and slightly cloudy. I'm gonna go with it because otherwise this is gonna turn into a sauna. So we've got Thematophilium sprucianum, otherwise known as Philodendron goldii, which is at the top here as well. And next to it, you can see those big, big strappy leaves there. That is the Philodendron patriciae, which is doing quite well. It's got to the point now where it's hitting the ceiling and I don't have any space to put it lower, if that makes sense. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. In the back, there is a propagation of a Philodendron tenue, which needs watering still today. There is a Philodendron, oh, I can never remember. It's the one that is silver, I think. I'll put the name at the top. It's the one that looks a bit like a Pastasanum leaf, but it climbs rather than crawls. And if I pan you over to see that side, I'll then bring you down a bit more handheld and show you kind of nooks and crannies of the different places, yeah? Okay, and you can see more of it here as well. The pink that you're seeing on the corner is the Begonia bravurimosa, subspecies exotica. This is my Zara X Michelle, which that newest leaf though, there's a bit of deformation, which means that it's slightly pointier, but look at how pretty it is in the redness. And then it will harden down to slightly lighter colors. It's a good thing I put this up here now because I can see that the begonia is looking very limp. It's too hot for it. It's going to need a drink of water today, which is a day earlier than it needs to get watered. But I think this is going to be a week of heavy watering, considering we're going to have a bit of a heat wave again. The Anthurium peltigerum doing so well. There is the Philodendron linamii at the top there. I'm still not in love with that plant, but it's doing its thing. I'm going to let it do its thing. Back here is the Staghorn superbum, and I think it's getting its first fertile frond, which is very cool. And then behind me, you can see all of the little orchids that are on the mounts, as well as some partially reverted Monstera albo and Philodendron, I want to say peltigerum, it's not. Peloraense, which is similar to the Tesla plant. The Tesla plant, the Holtonianum, is further in the back, but I think I prefer the Peloraense, if I'm being honest. Right, let me come down from the chair and show you a bit more of the kind of mid-level around the conservatory now. Okay, and you can see there's like some orchids that I've got mounted all over the place here. More of that Peloraense. The splendid, is this a splendid? Yeah, this is the splendid philodendron that's like a weed all over my space. Frederick Starlii, which has just been watered. I'm going to see if I can lift it up for you without tipping down all the water. But you can see the size of the Frederick Starlii. It's doing quite well in this space, actually. It is loving life. It's actually, I have to say, I don't know whether or not it's because of where I'm growing it, and maybe it's not the same for everybody, but it is, I have to say, it's one of my easiest anthuriums by far. And I'm trying to put it back in without it tipping down. Why does it want to tip? Okay, it's stable without it wanting to tip. I've also got, let me see if I can bring it out and show you without bringing everything else down in the meantime. This is my Monstera Esqueleto, which is doing its Esqueleto thing. It's doing really well. Could it be a bit bigger? Yes. Do I have space for it to get bigger? No. So I'm happy with it in this size for now. When I move to a bigger place and maybe a different place and I've got a bigger conservatory, because I'm going to try for a bigger conservatory for the next move, this can get more of an extension and truly go to its full size. And then buried in here as well, whilst I blow away all the whitefly, that is the newest leaf on the Delta Force. So Anthurium Delta Force is already beginning to size up quite nicely. So I'm happy. Whilst I'm still blowing away whiteflies. You know, it's par for the course. You get nice growing space, but also it means that all the bugs love you as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything else down here. Down below is where I've got a lot of my Calatheas, which is a bit darker. And I'm trying to think, if I spin you around this way, let's have a look at what's happening in this shelf. Okay. Apologies, the Ismail dents is everywhere at this point. This is my Epipramnum corner, so enjoy Pinnatum. Further back, I've got my Mandula pothos as well. You can see a bit more of the Heleniae subspecies, Heleniae philodendron. It's doing really well. There's one yellow leaf that I can probably snap off there, just so that it gives a bit more light to some of the others. That's the smallest leaf on the Heleniae, just to give you some context. But overall it's doing quite well. Again, through the foliage is where I have the crocodile fern, and so far, touch wood, it's doing okay, I have to say. I'm kind of letting it dry out more than I would ever feel comfortable with most other ferns, but at the moment, yeah, completely fine, completely and utterly fine. And it seems to be happier that way. The moment I stopped trying to keep it happy and moist is the moment that it did a lot better. I do have 2 shelves down at the bottom, and I may tilt you down so you can kind of see through the mess down there, which haven't really got much on them. And I do have a spare grow light, so that space might be getting utilized in the winter months. Annoyingly, I would like to kind of shift some of the shelves around, so I've got one bigger shelf so I can actually have taller plants down there, but I'd have to take everything off and put everything back on again, and that seems like a lot of work right now, which I don't want to do. And bringing it back down to this level of the kind of shelves, you can kind of see, and I know somebody was just like, you're not highlighting the Anthurium esmeraldens, because it's in between the Philodendron esmeraldens, but this is its newest leaf, and it's such a beautiful, underrated plant, I think. One of the easiest Anthuriums I have, and I mean, look at the back of that leaf. Still, I mean, it's still hardening off, but stunning, stunning. It does not get anywhere near the amount of credit that it needs to get as a plant generally in the houseplant community. More of the esmeraldens, because at this point it's a weed in this space for me. Then there's the heterocraspidum here that's doing okay. The little new Erisimoides that I bought recently has finally got its newest little leaf. It did have a third one, which is trilobal, which is what's here, but it rejected it from the word go, but it's doing okay. It's growing a second leaf, so I'm okay. I'm a patient with that one. I'm a wait. Down below, and this is the annoying thing. Let me zoom you back up again, slightly. So my Forgetii was doing okay. I knocked off one of the leaves, and it took nearly a month to grow a new leaf, and I'm just like, oh, it's a new leaf and it's coming through. And I looked the other day, and I do not remember knocking this back. And then I'm just like, oh, maybe it was a slug or something. And then I found it snapped off underneath it, and I'm just like, why? I'm just like, is anybody else? I'm assuming I'd knocked something off, but I'm going to ask the dumb question. Has anybody had Forgetii where the leaves just drop for no reason as they're emerging? Please do let me know down below. I'm really curious. The little baby Alocasia silver dragon, which I think had a tiny bit of irrigation. If you're the person that kind of gifted this to me at the London Plant Swap, it's doing well. Look, it's doing really well. It's doing really well. It's a lot happier now. I've given it a bit more light. Now I was going to move, this Hoya was getting a lot more light and it was on my south-facing window, but I bought it in here. This is the Retusa, the Hoya Retusa. And again, it's in cactus soil mix. I've heard a lot of things on this that it's a bit more, it needs a bit more moisture because it's a smaller leaves and all these things, and it also needs a higher humidity, so I bought it in here. This is struggling a lot already, basically, so that to me is never a good sign. But I'm hoping it will eventually start to behave itself. If you've got a Hoya Retusa, if you've found it challenging in any way or form, and if you've got any tips that I should probably know about, please do let me know in the comments down below. I would be massively appreciative. And this is a little hybrid Anthurium that I got given by Bearpaw Aroid. Hey, look, it's got, the dome has gone away so far. I've put it into pure sphagnum moss for now because it was doing a bit better in pure sphagnum moss, but it is rooting like crazy. It is beautiful. It's taking its time, but it's okay. I'm okay. I'm gonna wait for it. This is going to be a very, very cool plant. So yes, if you see this, it's doing well. Okay, and lower down on this shelf, which is where the Vitarifolium lives, these bits of the shelves that I've just shown you now, you're kind of used to seeing them behind me, but you may be getting a bit more of a sign of it. This, and I'll bring it up so you can see, is a top cutting that literally I took with all of these leaves from the Syngonium cheerpens, and I just shoved it in some soil, gave it a moss pole, and hoped for the best. This was all looking very limp. These leaves are starting to become turgid again, and looky, there is a new leaf coming through, and I was just like, oh, maybe it's got a kind of a few roots coming through. About a month and a half ago, maybe. Insane. And this plant, because I've got the mother plant somewhere else, I might then end up moving this into the regular household humidity because, again, feels like rubber. It's such a cool textured plant. So yes, it will be fine. You can see this one is still struggling a bit from when it didn't have any roots, but considering how many roots are already in here, and there's even more that I didn't see before down here, this will be fine. Absolutely fine. And further down below as well is where I've got, and if I tilt you down, you should be able to see, I did a review on the Paleonia repens variegata, which is doing really well. This is also where the Anthurium ophalterianum, which is named after Enid and NSE Tropical lives. Still, this gives me a lot of joy. Still the underrated plant. Now let me pan you a bit more this way. Or actually, maybe I can just go here. Again, you can see the size of that VCI leaf, and if I bring it in a bit closer, you can kind of see what I was talking about. It's big. That's one of its leaves from last year. It's not even this year's leaves. They're even bigger at the top. And here is where the Discidia lives, the mounted one at this point. A lot of the Peperomia rubesioides, my green dragon scale, which at this point, in this form or another, I mean, it's died back a few times. It's probably about 6-year-old plant now, so it's doing okay. I've got anthuriums down at the very bottom, and you can kind of see them where the grow light is. I was going to say excuse the mess, but you guys have been here for long enough to know that this is always messy. The Vitarifolium little propagate that I've got at the bottom, and I'll show you. This was not just a propagate, this is a seed pollination, or an inflorescence pollination with self, basically. Absolutely fine. It's taken a while. It's had issues with the growing media for a while now, and this might be the problem. It drips too much. This was watered yesterday. It should not be. Is it yesterday or today? No, it was today, so that should be fine. But yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. You can kind of see a few more things through everything else. So this is where the pink princess lives that I keep poo-pooing on. This is also where the Papillilanum lives. It's doing well. Also at the very top here in the back is where the Anthurium wendlingeri is. It's struggling a bit because I think at this point in time there's a big tree that's in full leaf now. Ironically enough, it was doing better before it got all of the leaves, and I think it's a light level issue, but I don't have anywhere else to put it. There is a new growth point that's just starting off, so hopefully there's going to be a new leaf soon. Okay, so that was a bit eventful. I don't know what time it cut off at that point when I was talking to you, but the gimbal decided to die of battery, so the camera just went flop. And I've been trying to charge it in order to start refilming, but I'm a bit pressed for time, so it's on the charge now while still being on, so hopefully it will remain fine. But yes, I was talking about some of the plants here. They're all doing really well. Let me show you the begonia, not melanoblata, the ferox. Trigger warning for anybody with trypophobia, it's the ferox. You'll understand. So it is looking spectacular. It's doing so well. So this is underneath a grow light, and I did bottom watering with this because I know that it can be a bit huffy if things get wet at the top. So it's doing really well. I've had to put a fan blowing on this because it was getting really bad, like kind of mildewy kind of situ on it. So I think I've been able to halt that, but bear that in mind if you're getting the ferox, that you need to have some air circulation around it 100%. you might be able to see, let me see if I can pan you around. There we go. This is the skeleton key, which is not looking its bestest, but it's doing okay. And then right in there, you might be able to see right at the back, let me tilt you a bit more. Right underneath that fan is where my Oblique Peru is. My Piper sarmentosum is on the bottom shelves there. You can see where the mother plant of the Chia Pens is. And I think that lighterness might be because of too much light potentially, but it's still doing okay. The Bulbophyllum orchid is this Bulbophyllum? No, I don't think this is actually. This might be a Rincovola actually, it's just because it's got the pseudobulbs in it. It's doing really well. I was hoping I might get some blooms this year. I don't know, I might not, but at the same time, some of these orchids I find start to bloom kind of autumn time. They need that summer to build up enough momentum to then throw out flowers. If this does, it'd be very cool. There's some new pseudobulbs. There's 1, 2, possibly 3 new pseudobulbs. So I might get some blooms off this if I'm lucky. That is also where the Burley Marks Flame Monstera is. And then there is the dehumidifier here. To tell you something about this space, that I need a dehumidifier, not a humidifier, with a bucket of water that comes off the dehumidifier, and probably not the best thing, but that is where I soak my Spanish moss and one of my air plants as well. Probably not the cleanest of waters, but it's good enough for them and it's fine. It seems to be doing okay. Right, let me tilt you a bit more. Okay, and you can see a bit more about what I meant here with the Monstera that's slightly reverting. The Bravuramosa down here. There's some more kind of feral splendid. I've got another Bulbophyllum kind of mounted on one of the lower shelves here. Let me show you, let me bring it up. Oh my God. Right, ta-da! And that one's doing okay as well. I don't know if I've had a little leaflet come out of this one just yet. There was one when I first got it. I don't know if I've had one since, but we shall see. I'm seeing new roots on here as well, so it seems to be happy. And then down below is where I have my crystallinum, massive crystallinum, and my pipers as well. And here you can see there's the, let me move you slightly again, there we go. There is the pendant anthurium as well, and you can see the top bit there as well. This is kind of slightly dark, but there is a window directly beneath this, so that's where you're getting most of the light. And if I just tilt you ever so slightly, and then maybe tilt you up instead of down, you can kind of see all the mounts with the orchids up there. And they're all connected to an automatic watering system which waters those plants whenever I did it. Because at the moment I used to have it on a timer, and what I found is that sometimes depending on how the weather would be, and that's a top tip, is remember to adjust based on weather and light levels, even in the summer, where I'm just like, oh, they're all gonna need watering every 2 days. Actually, there's certain days where it's been really cloudy and I need it to be watered every 3 days, and I don't want the orchids to rot out. So what I do is I use the automatic watering system, but not on a schedule. So instead of me having to bring every single one of those orchids down to water it, I have the control over on the app. And I did a video about the system that I'm using, and I'll link it at the top of this video as well. But I use that to kind of say, okay, water for 2.5 minutes now. And I have a reminder to go, okay, you know what, every 2 to 3 days, I check every 2 days on my kind of plant care app. And if I see that it doesn't need watering, I'll just move it over to the next day, and then the next day I'll do the watering then. And it seems to be working like a charm. So with any luck, some of those orchids at the very top are going to get some blooms this year. What did you think? Did you enjoy seeing maybe some plants that you don't see as often? Do you maybe understand now why some of these plants are not the easiest for me to pick up? That's the word. And show you on the camera, because they're intertwined by quite a bit. But I might try, I've got a bit better with kind of moving tripods around and things like that. So if you want maybe like a few weeks of maybe this kind of a background or a different background within the conservatory rather than my usual one, just to mix things up, let me know and I will do that. There's no problem basically. But yes, tell me what you thought. Did any of these surprise you? Did I show off some of your favorite? Did I not? Let me know and I will put it in for the next time round. But yes, hopefully you've enjoyed. Hopefully I shall see you here soon. And I truly, truly hope that you have a great rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.